Facing your demons and building unbreakable belief. You spend my time trying to build people up and strengthen their minds. I want to give them the belief they need because this world is incredibly tough. Life is the ultimate competitor that will try to take you down. It will find your weaknesses and hit you hard where it hurts most. My goal is to help you build such strong belief and confidence that nothing can hurt you anymore. This happens when you know exactly who you are and have faced all your demons. You need to be able to hear all your past traumas in your mind like an audiobook. Maybe you never wrote an actual book, but in your thoughts, you can listen to everything that happened to you and talk about it openly, without embarrassment or shame. Shame is one of the biggest things that kills people mentally these days. It stops them from moving forward in life. Too many people say they're ashamed of themselves, but you should never be ashamed of anything you've done. Instead, face it, fix it, and make it better. When I talk to people, I don't sugarcoat anything, because I'm not speaking from a place of never being hurt. I've been through real pain my whole life, but I don't say much to people who aren't ready to hear the truth. Maybe you're content being a nobody. Maybe you're perfectly happy exactly where you are in life, and that's obviously the case if you're still there. Maybe you don't have the determination to become someone better than who you are right now. If you want to live with that reality, I'll support you in that choice. If you're good with being who you are, waking up every day smelling bad because you can't take care of your body properly, with messed up skin because your health is terrible, needing help putting on your clothes or even wiping yourself, if that makes you feel good, then nothing I say will change your mind. You see, people are haunted by their problems, but they obviously enjoy horror movies because they keep watching the same terrible film over and over. I don't like horror movies, and a lot of people do like them. So, I don't waste much time on those people. I tell them exactly what I just told you because I used to be just like them. I didn't like horror films, so I changed the channel. There's this haunting voice in the back of everyone's head. Most of us just ignore it, but it stays there for years. I knew deep down in my mind that I could accomplish whatever I wanted. I knew I had that ability inside me, but I was afraid of the work it would require. I wasn't blessed with natural intelligence or God-given athletic talent. I knew that to get where I needed to go and compete with other men, just to try out for the programs I wanted, the work would be something I didn't even want to attempt. So I kept putting it off because it haunted me. The voice in my head kept saying, you know what? You're going to die without ever trying to reach your full potential. How is that going to feel? I realized I was going to live with regret even after death. I believe in some higher power, though I don't know exactly what it is. I believe your mind and spirit live forever in some form. I knew I would be haunted by the fact that I literally wasted that life. Looking back, I could imagine my tombstone reading, "Here lies David Goggins, a punk." That would be it, and I would have to live with that reality forever. Whether there's heaven or hell, you'd be in hell for the rest of eternity. If there is a God, which I hope there is, knowing what I've put myself through now and whatever memories I might have, I'll be a happy man. But I knew I was going to pay for my laziness either while living or while dead. To me, it felt like committing a huge sin, just sitting there being comfortable and not even trying. Some people become so lazy and overweight that their willpower shrinks to almost nothing. You can't give willpower to someone who doesn't have any. There has to be something already inside them. This isn't about finding some life hack or quick fix. Something inside you has to wake up, and usually only you can wake it up. Sometimes you might read a book by someone like me who went through terrible things and came out the other side. But if you don't have at least a tiny flame inside you, just barely burning, then you're finished. I can't light that fire for you. That's the harsh reality I desperately want people to understand. You can watch me. You can watch other motivational speakers. You can go to expensive seminars and buy all kinds of programs. You can keep going back and spending money with no results, wondering why nothing works. The truth is, you have to explore and examine what's inside yourself. What do you really want out of life? Many people simply don't want it badly enough. If that's the case, then have fun with your life. Go ahead and gain more and more weight because you don't actually want to change. That's the harsh reality. I can't give you what you need, and neither can anyone else. We can give you ideas, but at the end of the day, when I was losing weight, I had to wake up every miserable morning in the cold Indiana November when I started. I was absolutely miserable. This becomes your new life. Take it or leave it. There's no happiness in it initially, no peace behind it. It just sucks completely. I had developed a reality in my mind that wasn't actually real. We all do this. We can have a great life. But we build our entire reality around the one thing we don't have. Because of this focus, we don't even see our great life. We only see that one piece of clothing we couldn't afford instead of all the amazing things we do have. I was the king of focusing on the one bad thing in my life. The one person calling me names, everything negative. But over there was a beautiful reality of my life. Even though I came from nothing, I could have used my mind to see the possibilities of where I could go if I worked harder. All of that potential was right there, but instead I chose to live in the negative thoughts. When I was 297 pounds, I started thinking about what heaven might look like. Nobody really knows, so I imagined it. I pictured a long line for judgment, with God at the front. Let's say you're God and I'm just David Goggins. There's this long line, and you're talking to each person. Behind you is a big whiteboard with papers you pull down for each person. When my turn comes, I sit down and you say, "Congratulations, David, you made it to heaven." How do you feel? At this point in my imagination, I'm still the 300-pound guy working at Ecolab, but I'm 71 years old and have died. You pull down my paper, and it says David Goggins at the top. I'm reading it, and it has my name. But this paper shows everything about what I was supposed to be. God knows everything. Looking at it, I see 185 pounds, Navy SEAL, changed people's lives. Public speaker, motivational author, best-selling book, all these amazing accomplishments. I look at God and say, the name is right, but what's written? Here isn't me. God responds, it should have been you. This was the life you were supposed to live, but you didn't try. This is the life you actually lived instead. So I think to myself, am I really in heaven? Am I talking to God or the devil? Because now I'm in hell, seeing what my life was supposed to be because I didn't try hard enough, because I didn't put every single ounce of effort in my body into becoming better. I ended up as a 300-pound guy making $1,000 a month, and I was fine with that. That's how my mind works. It shows me where different paths will take me and what the possibilities are. I worked out so intensely that I didn't have time to stretch properly. I was running 150 miles a week, biking to work, really pushing myself while working a full-time job. Because of this, my body was getting tighter and more tired, not just from the exercise itself, but from the lack of recovery. So I decided to try stretching seriously. Instead of doing quick 10-minute routines or 6-minute ab workouts, I started stretching for an hour to an hour and a half every day. I shave my head almost every morning, and there was this bump on the back of my head. As I continued stretching, I noticed this bump was shrinking for some reason I couldn't understand. The smaller that bump got, the healthier I became. As my muscles became more and more stretched out and relaxed over a period of 5 years, I got into the best shape of my life just from stretching. I went from being on countless medications to only taking a very low-dose thyroid pill. Now I do yoga all the time. If I could tell someone one thing right now, it would be to focus on that psoas muscle and getting those hip flexors opened up. We're all incredibly stressed out, and this was so much worse for me than others. Opening up those areas completely changed my life. The impact I want to have in the world is for everybody to be able to face who they really are. I want people to have the kind of confidence where they could go on TV or put their life story on a billboard without being ashamed of who they are. You shouldn't be ashamed of what life made you or what you helped life make you. All that bad stuff that's now mixed together in this big pot that keeps stirring. You should no longer be ashamed of it. You need to realize that we're all messed up in some way. Stop judging yourself against other messed up people who have just hidden their problems better than you have. That's all they've done. They've mastered hiding their issues better than you. And now they're turning it back on you and saying you're the one with problems. I want you to understand that this whole life is one big mental game. Once you learn to play that head game properly, it's no longer a game at all. You can finally start living your real life.